Welcome to the WLPGA podcast series. Each podcast will feature LPG industry leaders and explore current opportunities, trends, and developments in the LPG industry. We hope you enjoy these informative segments.
Hello and thank you for joining me. I would like to talk to you about the role of LPG codes of practice in mature and emerging markets. I'm sure you will agree these podcasts are an excellent initiative that the WLPGA has instigated, as it enables me to share some insight into how I've used Liquid Gas UK codes of practice to increase awareness and use of LPG in mature and emerging markets. My name's Richard Hakeem and I'm delighted that the WLPGA has given me an opportunity to bring you a podcast which I hope is of benefit to the market sectors you work in. I am the Director of Technical and Safety Policy for Liquid Gas UK, who are the trade association for the UK LPG industry. The wide diversity of our membership means that the association is fabricated by gas producers and distributors, equipment manufacturers, training bodies and installers. This allows us to take a holistic approach on the UK LPG industry so that the association becomes a critical link between policymakers, regulators, stakeholders and our member companies. The benefit this brings is that it puts us in the driving seat to challenge the things that aren't working so well and build on the areas that are. At the core of Liquid Gas UK, our role is to lead industry and government consultations on technical, safety, energy policy and supply resilience to gain positive trends. And very importantly, we champion the development of safety and technical standards. So this leads me nicely into what I want to talk about. One of the strongest attributes of Liquid Gas UK is its codes of practice. For over 45 years, we have provided good engineering and safety practice to the UK LPG industry. This has created a strong foundations for companies to evolve and grow. Whilst government provides the legal framework and sets parameters for businesses to work within, governments are calling on industry to become more self-policing, which means that the standards have to comply with the law. They have to be effective, fit for purpose, credible, so that the regulators fully support the guidance we provide to industry. So let's go back to the theme of my podcast. Can codes of practice have much influence in mature and emerging markets? To answer this, we need to understand what the definition of a code of practice is. A code of practice is a written guideline that is set out by a professional association in order to guide its members and stakeholders towards compliance with regulatory policy. This means that a code of practice is based on statutory policy, so if a company complies with the code, they have generally done enough to comply with the law. So what makes a good code of practice? Like most things, you need some essential ingredients. These ingredients are skill, knowledge, experience, and market intelligence. Market intelligence is what I call the special ingredient, because this is what makes the code relevant and gives it the respect it deserves within the market sector it is written for. We have written codes for a wide variety of sectors, such as the design and operation of Autogas refueling stations, street food and commercial catering, design and operation of LPG road tankers, and we also have a nationally recognised approved Autogas vehicle installer scheme that has been running for over 15 years. I have a few case studies I would like to draw upon, and one of the highlights is the work we did with the Nationwide Catering Association, who initially approached us to develop a code for outdoor catering in retail markets, festivals, and for the popular trend we have grown to love, that is street food. As I love food, this is a code that I wanted to breathe life and soul into. We involved regulators, 2 national catering associations, manufacturers of catering equipment, and the installers themselves. They were all invited to present Liquid Gas UK with the unsafe situations and practices they came across that was damaging quite a mature market. With the stakeholders' market intelligence, we had better insight into that industry and was able to develop a code of practice that is now nationally recognised as the definitive guide for the use of LPG in outdoor catering. In Ukraine, I gave a presentation on how some of our codes could assist UK's policymakers to develop a regulatory framework to permit Autogas refueling stations to be built. Up until then, there were regulatory barriers to the market growth of Autogas. A few years later, I was delighted to hear that Ukraine LPG Association had successful talks with their regulator, and the code of practice was used as a basis to develop their country's policy. And the last case study I would like to share with you is where a code of practice helped to create and establish a key market in the UK. The UK LPG approved Autogas installer scheme was based wholly on a code of practice that we developed for this sole purpose. The scheme was established over 15 years ago and is highly recognised with well-established criteria for membership, terms and conditions, a consumer code and monitoring system. It was developed to provide consumers with the assurance that the approved companies convert vehicles to run on LPG in a safe and satisfactory manner. Only UK LPG approved Autogas installers can place vehicles on the UK LPG vehicle register. This is used by insurance companies and by consumers when buying a vehicle. The scheme has been very successful and made a major contribution to promoting and establishing the LPG vehicle conversion market in the UK. So from my experience, I believe that codes of practice are a very powerful document that can shape regulatory policy and assist in market growth by protecting the reputation of our industry and to educate people on the safe use of LPG. Codes of practice can create a foundation for strong implementation of safe working practices, and they can underpin a country's legal and regulatory framework. Codes can create a level playing field for competition and leads industry to take a consistent approach to design, installation, distribution, inspection and testing. They can increase consumer awareness in the safe use of LPG and help to reduce fear of the product. And they give regulators practical and clear guidance for inspections where law can often be ambiguous. But very importantly, they give regulators the confidence for industry to self-police itself. So it is clear to see that codes of practice have a very important role in mature and emerging markets. Finally, in my closing remarks, I would like to share with you two key lessons I learned. We must be always open to change if we are to continuously improve safe working practices, and we must be prepared to go outside of our comfort zone to fully engage with market sectors that use LPG if we are to evolve. I hope you've enjoyed my podcast, and I look forward to seeing you at the next LPGA Congress.
We hope you enjoyed this podcast, and we look forward to you tuning in again soon.